Hey everybody, it's July 6th, 2014, about 5 p.m. My little trip helped. I feel lighter, less stressed. I'm still having some sensitivity issues with touch and input, but it's less than it was, and I can laugh about it. So it's better. I probably could have used a couple more days, but that'll have to wait until I can. Um, I've got the yearly trip up to Tahoe in August, beginning of August, so it's only, what, a month away or so, so that's not too bad. I think I can manage. Um, in terms of everything else, I've learned a few things, mostly about dealing with school. I think school was a bigger issue on my mind, and I think part of the problem was I had thought the problem, I was kind of wrong in what I thought my problems were going to be. I thought my problems with English was going to be getting thoughts out of my head onto paper, and which it kind of is, but not for the reasons I thought, and so the English is giving me more trouble. The math is actually kind of going exactly as I figured. Algebra, for whatever reason, gives me fit, but I can do the geometry, the statistics, and the other section. I passed the pre-assessment without having even reviewed it. I actually had that pre-assessment. I could have technically passed out the class had I taken the actual assessment test. It would have only been 71, and 65 is passing. I don't like that narrow of a window. But if I simply improve I only missed a couple. I missed like one in statistics, one in geometry, and one in the one thing I can't remember now. If I just improve in those areas, I can get up to 80%, even with missing every single thing in the algebra category. So, so for whatever reason, algebra is still a block, but I'm not going to keep slamming my head into it. I'm going to move past the algebra. I'm going to review the statistics, the estimates, and geometry, and and the fact that I now know pi is 3.14 instead of whatever 3 point whatever the hell I think put it was when I did my calculations. I'll get a couple more right because I just made a simple math calculation when I forgot what pi was, because I don't remember formulas. It's like license plates and telephone numbers. I'm terrible with them. So for whatever reason, that algebra, anyway. So my math I'm actually happy with. I think I'm going to take my assessment at the end of the week. So hopefully by the end of this week I'll be out of my math class. I'm still struggling mightily in my English class. And it's not for the reasons that I thought I would. I thought my problems would be run-on sentences, commas in the wrong place, dangling modifiers, and all that madness. It's not. The grammar I'm actually okay with, and what I'm not okay with, I can catch in a proper editing process, which is something I've learned, and which, oddly enough, has freed me from some of my difficulty in getting stuff out of my head and onto paper. Is that, look, I can edit what mistakes I do make, and I don't know why this has taken me 40 years to figure out. The mistakes I do make, I can go back and correct. I don't know, maybe it's because it used to be so difficult for me to write, write quickly. Going back and editing that was always a major task, major difficult for me, and for whatever reason, I never unlearned that, hey, you've got a word processor now. You don't have to go back and rewrite the whole flipping essay like you would before when you wrote it in pen and you screwed up early on. So so there's not so much pressure to get it right the first time. And as long as I don't have to worry about getting it right the first time, I have an easier time getting it out of my head and on the paper. For whatever reason, I have had trouble getting it that way. But if I can quit smoking by simply deciding that it's time, and deal with 3 days of crankiness and be okay, I can get past that. That is a simple, relatively simple process of just convincing myself that I was an idiot and didn't realize, and that's no longer reality. Move on past it, and I can do that now that I've made that connection. It's just sometimes getting there is difficult for me. The problem I am having is an overly directed task for an essay. I'm supposed to what is this? Let me pull this up. I've got an essay, and basically, three of the four topics are how writing, or reading and writing, and your has, not necessarily, I'm paraphrasing, has improved your life or made your life better or helped you succeed, or transforming event type of thing. And I've come to realize I don't have any of those. All my transforming events, the most meaningful events in my life, have happened face to face. I never had a teacher in a classroom setting, anyway, that never had a teacher in my classroom setting that overly inspired me. There it is. So here's my tasks. It's narrating an experience you had with a writing or reading task. That's the one that actually let's go with the other three. Describe an important moment or event in your literacy development. Explain the significance of this event. There isn't one, right? Not that I can think of. Narrate a time when your literacy skills have helped you achieve a personal goal or accomplishment. Explain the significance of this accomplishment. No. I mean, again, there is an event I can pull up, but I really don't think I can spin it in a positive way. Right? Okay, for these two, there is an event I can think of. It's back in high school. Again, we have to go back 30 years to find something. Right? I had to read 1,000 pages for the semester or something for book reports, and then you had to do them. Most people did it in 4 or 5 book reports. Me, went out and read James Michener's Sentinel, 1,083 pages of memory serves, and did one big book report. I didn't learn anything from it other than I could pull it off. There was nothing I learned. James Michener's first half of his books are insanely boring. The second halves are good. The first halves are insanely boring. That's the only thing I learned from the event. It wasn't anything difficult about it. It wasn't important because I already knew everything I needed to know to pass it. I didn't learn anything from it. Achieved a personal goal of what? Doing the least amount of passing English course with the least amount of effort. I'm sorry, I don't think you can pass that one off as. My goal was to get out of English class with only doing one book report. I'm not sure how I can make that into an essay as a positive experience, or even all that significant. Describe a time when you have used reading or writing to learn in an environment other than the classroom, and explain the significance. Well, I've gone back to I don't have any where reading or writing have been that experiences. All my experiences are personal, face to face. It's talking with Al Delisle about scientific process, and for hours on end as we pace his house, as my stepfather was working on his car or his sprinkler system. My events came from not from the books I read about the Civil War. It came from when I went and walked on Civil War battlegrounds. It wasn't the reading or the writing, it was the walking. There's no way I can spin the books to being anywhere near the significance of what it was when I walked on it. They didn't teach me anything that I learned more from the walking. The reading helped fill, you know, informational gaps, but it's just information. It itself wasn't transformative. There was no meat to it. The meat came from personal experiences, from meeting and talking to the park rangers, and you know, that kind of thing. It wasn't reading the plaques or reading those big Civil War books I had as a kid. Dang, I wish I had kept those. But I don't even know what the names of them are, so I couldn't, you know, I don't have them, and it's been 30 years since I do. I don't remember the names of them. There was and it wasn't any one book. It was the whole series of them. There's no way I could write an essay about that, which would lead me to narrate the experience you had writing or reading a task that you found or still find difficult or challenging. Well, up until this essay, nothing has been all that, you know, my challenge has been getting it out of my head and on the paper. And there's no, you know, it's so again, it leaves me to this. So that's where I'm struggling at now. I'm trying to figure out how to narrate an experience you had with writing or reading tasks you found or still find difficult. Well, I've never, you know, in school, I never found reading or writing difficult. Putting the commas in the right place or run-on sentences were, you know, a continual issue, but it was the fact that I didn't edit. It had nothing to do with the fact that it was difficult. So, and reading has never been hard. So I've never found a reading task I felt difficult. What I'm finding difficult is relating to writing this essay topic. My next essay topics I'm actually finding relatively easy. I've got one it's an evaluation essay. You know, evaluate a product or a book or a movie, or it's a policy, and there's one more. But it's an evaluation essay, and that's relatively easy. You pick something and you evaluate Bic lighters because they work great all the time, longer, and they don't blow up in the car if you leave them hot. You know, it's an easy subject to pick. You can just pick anything you use every day that you like. You can evaluate my tablet. You know, you go find an article who's evaluated the specs of it, and you use that as the one in essay citation, and and you pound it out. That one I find is easy. You know, I've been trying to bang my head about what policy I want to argue about, and I said, screw it. I think I'm going to evaluate Bic lighters. I don't think I'm going to worry about it. I'm going to evaluate Bic lighters. Bic lighters work better than other lighters. They just do. And somebody somewhere has written an article about it. And so then I can link to that. Or I'll link to an article about lighters exploding. Right? And I say Bic lighters don't explode. And you know, lighters explode in hot cars, but Bic lighters don't. So I can, you know, link to an article. You only need one, so you can just link to that. This is a problem, and you say that, you know, none of these problems happen with Bic lighters. Anyway, so for that, and then task 3 is, I already even know what my thing is. It's youth unemployment is a problem, because you talk about find a problem in your area and discuss it. And mine was going to be youth unemployment, and how we price these poor kids, especially in my neighborhood, out of the job markets by not allowing places like McDonald's and, you know, the zoning regulations and whatnot. We don't allow them to have, you know, walkable entry-level jobs. You know, and the entry-level jobs we do have, we've priced the 16, 15, 16, 17-year-olds out of the market, and now we've got their 40-year-old mothers working there because, you know, their kids can't get that job. We've completely just screwed up how things are supposed to work. But anyway, as you can tell, I'm feeling a little bit better. So I will see you guys next time. As always, love everybody. There it is.